big old show, everybody. We got a monster show for you people tonight. I'm very excited about the people we have on the program this evening. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Do have to talk, though, about the First Lady, who's been in the news a lot lately. Are you following her Senate campaign at all? Anybody? Yep, she's whipped 3 of you into a frenzy about the big Senate campaign. Now, she's in the news a lot lately. She's out there. She's running for Senate, trying to get attention. And apparently, this is not good news for her, but I read in the paper, Hillary Clinton is slipping in the polls. Have you heard about that? She's not doing so well in the polls. And apparently, one of the reasons is that she is not connecting with female voters. That's what they're saying. True story. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Hillary said, you know, it's hard to connect with women when you've called them at 3 a.m. and told them to stay the hell away from your husband. It's not hard to make the transition into the campaign. The other day, speaking of the campaign, this is a different one, the presidential campaign. Presidential candidates George W. Bush and John McCain did something pretty interesting. They shook hands and they agreed not to take part in any negative advertising. Isn't that cool? I thought that was neat. Yeah. I think they've gotten a little carried away because George W.'s newest ad says John McCain is a patriotic American and a great kisser. Which I have a photo of, if you'd like. It was also reported today that five of the 9 candidates for president had their first jobs in media-related fields. Which I thought was interesting. They all worked in media, I guess. Which, when you think about it, it's true. Steve Forbes worked in a magazine's mailroom. Bill Bradley was a paper boy. And Al Gore worked as a radio antenna. He was... And then last thing, I got to mention this, because this is one of the strangest stories in the news. I'm not doing my job if I don't bring it up. The other day in Connecticut, true story, 2 parents were arrested because they allowed their 2-year-old son to smoke a cigarette at a local restaurant. 2-year-old son smoked a cigarette. Yeah, and afterwards the parents said, you know, normally we wouldn't let our 2-year-old smoke, but he had just had sex. So, that's a cool kid. I want to see how he turns out. Let's talk about tonight's show. Great show for you this evening. From the hit program Sex and the City. And I want to work sex into our title desperately. We will. This show will have sex in the title soon. But from Sex and the City, Sarah Jessica Parker. Very cool. I applaud her. We also have... Talk about cool. This guy, one of the handsomest legends in show business. He's in the new movie Play It to the Bone. I'm talking, of course, about Robert Wagner. This is my Robert Wagner face. Doesn't work on this big Irish melon. And then it's not the same. And then, really excited, very excited, as a Bostonian, I'm thrilled about this. This man was elected yesterday to the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is one of the greatest catchers of all time. I'm talking, of course, about Carlton Fisk. Carlton Fisk, Pudge. I got to ask him about his nickname, Pudge, because you'd think he'd get a better one. We have here, actually, just to refresh everyone's memory, one of the greatest baseball clips of all time. We'll show it just before we end the intros. This is, of course, the 6th game, 1975 World Series. Let's see that home run. Historic moment. Let's see it before we go. I get excited. I don't think tonight's going to be, being on this show will be the biggest night of his life, somehow. number 2, maybe. And, of course, wearing a pink shirt for God knows what reason, Max Weinberg. And the Max number 7. Hey, Max, it looks good. Gentlemen, Andy, good to see you.
Hello.
You know that clip we just showed of Carlton Fisk's 1975 World Series home run? You don't realize it at home, but that cost us $2,700 to show that.
Yeah.
And I was insisting.
Pretty tight with those sports clips.
They're really tight. It costs this show, and on most shows, that's nothing.
Right.
Here, that's your and my salary combined.
Right.
We were volunteer on this show the first 2 years. This was an internship for us. Anyway, it's $2,700, and the deal is for $2,700 we can use 60 seconds of viewing time from that clip, and we just used, how many seconds was that? You think? Like 8 seconds? We got to get our money's worth. So let's see that clip one more time.
Maybe 16.
20 seconds, maybe.
We'll say 20.
20 seconds with this. So we've used up about 20 seconds of that.
Yeah.
So maybe throughout the show we'll try and use up the rest of it. You know, because we got to, to the accountant. We answer to the accountant.
I think we had to pay extra for that sound effect, too.
Of the,
Pink.
Pink. Yeah, I don't know. Why do we have to add that?
I don't know.
How unrealistic was that?
Well, I bet we get to see it again.
Yeah. Listen for that next time.
For that bad bat
Just trust me, for $2,700, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Now, you were not with us yesterday. You were playing hooky.
I was working somewhere else. I was finishing up a movie in Dallas that I had been working on before.
Right.
And so I'm finally done with it.
The Conan O'Brien story.
Oh, sadly, no.
Sadly, no. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a Robert Altman film.
Yeah, Robert Altman directing it.
And, you've never really told me what this movie's about. I know he does movies sort of about relationships and people.
It's called Dr. T and the Women, and it stars Richard Gere as a Dallas OBGYN, and sort of it's about him and the women in his life. And it's about, it's like a movie that's about characters, He
does sort of, it makes, like smaller observations about
exactly. And
humanity.
This is sort of about, Dallas society, and also, I think, just the relationships between men and women. It's just like a sort of a quiet film, in that way. And I think we actually have a picture, a still from me we don't have a clip yet. But
there you go. That's nice. So how does that work into the film?
There is an evil genius with a mountaintop lab.
All right.
I have to. What is this?
You love to show people your ass.
I know.
Look at this.
Boy. Woohoo.
Well, very nice. Good luck with. We're looking forward to seeing that when it comes out.
Summer, fall next year, something like that.
Well, you're plugging a movie already.
I know.
I knew you when you were 11.
Let me tell you about my latest vacation.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that.
Thank you. Something we should talk about, because people look to us to comment on things happening in the news.
The fools that they are.
The fools that they are.
Yeah.
Melissa Etheridge, you all heard about this. She announced that David Crosby is the father of her children. I guess, that...
Very weird news.
Yeah. Melissa Etheridge's partner had the children, but the sperm came from David Crosby, which is really weird. So we thought, we have to do an If They Mated about this. This is something we do on the show. We use an advanced computer technology to see if couples had a baby, what would it look like? So let's take a look. This is, of course, let's look right now. There is Melissa Etheridge. There is David Crosby. And let's see, of course, what the child's going to look like one day. Just curious. And why? I like. Of course, that joke doesn't really make sense because her partner had the baby.
Well, that's probably why.
Yeah.
That result.
Right.
They made the right choice.
Yeah, they saw that and they went, "Why don't you have a baby?" All right.